Good morning. We are out here this morning bright and early, getting ready to run this cat. And we have been clearing things out. Yesterday I spent about 20 or 30 minutes on the Bobcat learning it, and it was a lot of fun. Today we are getting ready to start digging again. We're going to dig out the spot. We have a guy who is scheduled to drop off some rock. So this is going to start to really take shape pretty quickly. We have rented a skid steer, and we are clearing out the land where we are going to put the tiny house. So we're moving the tiny house to the front of the property, just to kind of make it a little bit easier as we come and go. And so we're making a level spot where we can lay some rock, put the other shipping container. We have a third shipping container, put that over here and get things a little bit more livable right now while we start to build. The building process is complex and there's a lot of factors to consider. So we've gone back to the drawing board time and time again. And so this time we are actually moving forward. As Tag says, we're putting a stake in the ground. My name is Jess. Welcome to American Roots.
Pull this stake up more. I want to say that line is the same distance from the ground to the top there. I think I did 20 inches, maybe 24 to pre-measure from the ground up here. So it's this much has to go probably until right here. Because this is flat, it looks pretty flat. So like this chunk.
We need to take that out and then remeasure.
Yeah.
Okay. So stake that down right there. And you can use this as your guide right here.
Yeah.
And just leave that. Don't just keep taking it to where it's like level with that. Because you're only going to be able to get a little bit of this dirt into the bucket at a time. And this is maybe 2 or 3 bucketfuls right here.
Really, all I want to really do right now is just scrape the grass up so I can see better, and like maybe get a little dirt, but and then maybe when you go over it, you can dig it leveler.
I like that tree. This way your mom could see you putting on your seatbelt.
Tight. Well, there's a fat man.
Your head.
Yep. Take video from the inside. Just hopped in. Getting ready to dig some more dirt up. She home. I just got lots of controls. That's steering. That's bucket. Parking brake. Close the door.
Fire season again, and the ash in the air is my eyes stinging, and I can hear the winter slowly awakening. The mountains are my only goal, so I can shed my skin and be made whole. In the crisp air and the red clay will be my salvation. Sets in with the early frost, and the things that I've loved are the things I've lost. The wheat from the chaff, the sheep from the goats. This year I am becoming my own home. This year I am becoming my own. Already leaving. I guess you got swept in their migration, and now every nest I come across looks abandoned. Pacing every inch of this room, looking for one spot without memories of you, but the blisters turn to callous if I'll just keep walking. Your absence sets in with the burning trees, and the things that I've loved are the things that I bleed. The wine from the water, the flesh from the bone. This year I am becoming my own home. This year I am becoming my own.
This is really great because this is giving us an opportunity to not only learn a new skill, but we are making drastic changes in our property, like quick. We were feeling a little bit stagnant because things weren't really happening, and we knew that things happen for a reason, but still, you make plans, and when they don't work out, it can be a little frustrating. And it just kind of left us not really knowing where to go or what to do next. So we talked it out with some friends who have done this before, and kind of like as I was talking, coming up with a plan of like what I wanted to do to kind of remedy the situation. So we found ourselves in a situation where we had plans to build, and we were going to push the tiny house up against the property that we were building. And it turned out that the guy we were going to have do our bulldozing for us couldn't get there until like a week later. And so we were just feeling a little like deflated because we wanted to try to get started on laying some footers and getting the foundation put in place. Well, that frustration kind of led to us having, of course, to sleep on it. And we ended up talking it through with our friend B. And she was like, hey, so just hear me out. Like, what if you didn't connect it? What if you didn't connect the tiny house and you left the tiny house, and we just built out the house that you wanted? And I thought, okay. And it never really occurred to me. And so then I ended up actually like really pondering the thought. And so that kind of led us to then meeting with them. Joe and I had come up with the idea of trying to move it closer to the road. It's a half a mile back to where we want to build, and that can add up on the gravel, right? So we ended up deciding, we kind of staked out a spot, and then we talked to Tag and B, and they were like, we think it's a great idea. You should go ahead and consider moving the tiny house. And so Tag gave me some advice, and I wrote down some steps, and we just started putting those steps in action. And step 1 was figuring out where we wanted it. Step 2 was renting the skid steer and getting it delivered to the property. And then step 3 was learning to drive the skid steer. And now here we are clearing out the property for the area. We have step 5, which I think was getting rock. And he's delivering that today or tomorrow. So once we have that delivered, then Tag's going to come over and show us a couple tricks to get the rock laid out and get everything ready so that we can get the tiny house moved down here. We also have a 3rd shipping container that we are looking to move over here next to the tiny house. That way the tiny house has a little bit of storage, tiny storage. It's actually large storage. He's trucking right along. So we want to clear out this area right in here. I think he said it was 50 by 50. He may have gone bigger now, but we're just trying to clear away all of the brush and grass and get it to the point to where then we can start working on a level spot. So we don't want to take off too much space. So he's just, you know, we don't want to take off too much dirt. So he's just going through and trying to just get some of the brush up right now, I think, with the forks on the bucket. It helps because everything is so overgrown and we have not bought any kind of a tractor or lawnmower yet. We have just barely started. And it's hard to know where to prioritize things, expenses, all of that when you have so much going on. It's helping him learn. I mean, I think this is a really good thing. He's not gonna feel intimidated to do it again. You know, there's always a sense of intimidation with anything that you don't know until you get your hands in it and you start doing it. And I was grateful to have friends to come over and help us and show us what to do. I mean, Tag came over, learned how to control it. It's opposite of his machine. And then he showed us how to do it, and I feel like his 20-second lesson, it's actually like a 2-minute lesson, but it always works really well. You know, when you come from the city, you don't have these skills. You don't come with these skills unless this is your trade, unless this is something you did. But we drove 2-wheel drive vehicles and didn't think twice about it. So, I mean, that's what the city does to you. And you're happy with that. Because that's all you know. So the biggest thing is trying to find productive things that we can be doing when the other one isn't on the skid steer. So I'll wait until he's done backing up. So we are trying to get the ground level. And so that's one of the things that somebody can be doing is like going around with the board and the level and making sure that there's spots we're staking out where we need to take out more or less. And we're trying to be very, very careful not to overpick. Like if we take out too much dirt, it won't be a good thing. We want to leave the dirt intact. So I'm trying to just take off that top layer. That can prove to be a little bit challenging when you've never run a skid steer before. But he seems to be doing a good job. I mean, it's nice to see this space starting to get cleared out. So over here, where we dug out, let's go check it out. I want to see. I think we need to kind of maybe shave a little bit off the top, but not too much more. So I started digging here last night, and this is where I stopped. And my idea was that I was going to be taking some of this off the top, but I think what we need to do is just take like a light layer off the top and then try to smooth this out a little bit. I think that might have been too much. But see, I like it how he's able to get all that brush in there. It's really helping to clear a lot of it out. I mean, you can mow it, but then it just lays there. This is actually like pulling it out. And then we're like starting a compost pile with all the grass and brush. Having this skid steer opens up so many possibilities that we've decided now to extend our stay and keep it for the week. If you rent it for 3 days, it's the same as having it for 7. So you might as well get it done. So we are going to extend our stay and just see how much we can get done. There is so much that has to be done. I mean, we could use it, like Tag was saying, take it down and clean up around the pond. There's so many things that need to be done and so many trees we could use it to remove. I mean, just along this tree line, there's trees that we could remove with it that have fallen and are like need to be pulled out. I mean, all of that is help that like brains over brawn. Like I can't do that by myself. So to have this tool is pretty helpful.
Jess is out there digging, so I'm bringing her some fresh coffee. My friend B told me these were medicinal. We got a few all over the area. So I'll just dig in and see more about that. There's Jessica doing some circles. Drop your bucket. Drop your bucket. Drop your bucket. You won't be able to get out. You gotta restart it and drop your bucket. Good morning.
Morning.
Brought you some coffee. A refill. Here's the cream. How's your digging coming along?
We gotta get the brush cleared.
It looks good.
We can.
You got a nice square. We're almost there. I think we really need to build up this side.
I think you can pour that right on top.
Here, I'll hand it to you.
Thanks.
Fresh coffee.
In the Bobcat.
It's gonna be a nice big pile. Dude, that dump truck is legit.